G'day everyone, here we are again on Flight Sim 2020. Engine's already running. We'll take off and check out a couple of the huts my brother's made for Flight Sim 2020 for us to land at. Real world time and weather. Yeah, let's get into it. It's just easy to start this one sometimes running because it's there's still an issue with the way the throttle works until they update it. It's got a few bugs with this I've found since the last video. One of the major bugs with it is obviously not being able to wind the throttle on and off unless you do it. Well, it doesn't actually work at all. And when you're playing multiplayer, if someone else has got the 407, the rotors just do not turn. They turn on your model if in the external view, but you'll see the other person's helicopter, the blades are just stopped, which is it's a little bit of an immersion breaker when it comes to using it in multiplayer. So we'll back out of here. A bit of a tailwind here, so we'll turn into it. There, I'll head out to the Otupua, the Footy Field and the Mangaroa, and we'll check them out. I can't remember if I've said before in previous videos, but I'm actually running a mod for the autogen that reduces the tree height because otherwise they're too tall. And to me, the mod, it obviously gives it a few more gaps in it, but the height of the trees is a lot more realistic to New Zealand style trees. If you have it on the default Microsoft one, it's trees are far too big. Like, it's pretty much like some sort of redwood forest, they're that tall. Or maybe a New Zealand Karri forest, which is probably okay in, say, a really dense bush area, but in something like a beech forest, this height here is about pretty close to accurate. Just flick to the outside view. Getting blown along with a little bit of a tailwind down here today. A little bit of a glary-ish day with a few clouds around. Just let me check the forecast actually, or the weather I mean, see what it... You can pop this out mid-flight and just trying to...
New Zealand Centre Clark Aviation 201 is type 4 miles southeast of November Zulu Hotel Sierra Hotel 3,500 feet.
It's all unreal.
Clark Aviation 201 New Zealand Centre. Squawk 6167.
So we're coming into towards the Otupua now.
Clark Aviation 201.
Clark Aviation 201 radar contact 5 miles southeast of November Zulu Hotel Sierra Hotel 2000.
So these sceneries have just been added by my brother. We tested this one out yesterday, but I haven't seen the other two yet. So we'll be able to check out how he's got on with them. This hut is the same as the Otupua one he put in the X-Plane 11 and 12 version, so it should actually look better in here because of the lighting and the atmospheric. So here we are coming in onto it. And you can actually edit the terrain too in the editor, which I've got to figure out how to do yet, but you can make things look a lot more realistic. So looking at the shape of the airstrip here, it's already looking a lot better. So there's the hut tucked up in the little corner there. Just approaching. Wind will be coming from our left hand side, so Just try not to overshoot, because it'll be sort of a little bit of a partial tailwind in here, I'd say. A little bit tricky without any smoke, but there we go. Actually looks pretty realistic. There's about realistic light and shadow in here at the moment for this time of the day. Tucked over in the corner. Right, we'll pick up again. And I think he's even put the little meat safe in the corner there. It's missing at the moment. I can't see it on the... See the edge of it. It must be not showing. And there's a possum trap there. Might even be a possum in it, I think. It's hard to tell. Not sure what that is. A stump or something. And then the outhouse. And yeah, we'll fly off down the airstrip. And we'll go to the Footy Field next, and then back to past the Mangaroa, and then head back to base. So this looks like he's set it up so that we can land planes in there, or fixed wing when if we feel like a change from helicopters. There's the Mangaroa out to the right over there. And the Footy Field straight ahead down the valley. You can just see the little clearing around a couple of bends. This will be another one we'll be able to land it with aircraft too, because these are a lot of the old bush airstrips in the Kaweka Ranges. Now the hut just there. Turn back into the wind. Bring it to a stop. Right, now we'll head back to the Mangaroa. Won't bother landing at this one. Take off into the wind this time. Right, there's the Mangaroa. Otupua's out to the right there. We'll come in and we'll approach up one of these side offshoots of the runway. Must have been across the airstrip as well at some point. Bit of a downhill run on that one. This would be a really interesting one to try fixed wing takeoffs with that ridge right out to the other side there. Let's just turn back into the wind here. You sort of see it just hut's just tucked off into the side of the airstrip there, in the lee of the hill. Let's just hover down onto the end of the runway here and see what the runway looks like. You wouldn't have a really big wingspan coming in here because I don't think it really would get used anymore as an actual airstrip. It's probably a bit rough, a bit overgrown, but not a problem for a helicopter. Alright, we'll head head back. Go back past the Otupua. I think he said he added some beehives in up in our little spot we had them in X-Plane 12, so we'll go have a look. The hut just there. Starts slowing up. There's the beehives there, sitting around in the little clearing. Be awesome once we can do sling loads in here. Hopefully it'll be on the cards at some stage. Alright, we'll head back to base. Be a little bit of a headwind all the way back this time. You can almost hear the wind a little bit in the background because it's quite a blustery day by the sound of it. Looking at the windsock when we left base, it was too. Probably going a little bit low here, but just trying to see if I can pick up some of that turbulent air over the lee of these hills with the wind the way it's blowing. But so far it hasn't been too bad. We are cutting along a reasonable clip though, punching through it. So if we get a bit of a downdraft on this ridge coming up, we should do. Oh, got a bit of a lift off that one. Definitely got lift there. Like I'm not changing any power input. So now we should start to settle into a bit of a sort of a downdraft as we approach it, maybe a little slightly. Not too bad. Oh yes, yeah, just there it started to drop. Now we should start to climb as we come across. We should start to balloon up as we hit the rising gear. Yep, there we go. Climbing again. Now we're settling again. Climbing. We'll see what it's. I'm trying to watch the climb and descend indicator as we come up to the ridge. Yep, now we get a little bit of the sink. As I said, sort of like waves. Here we go. And we hit the other side of the ridge, we're in a descent, and then we should start to climb. Yep, here we go. We hit the uprising here. It's a lot more noticeable now, so seeing just the subtle changes in the way the wind moves over the terrain and how it affects the machine. Nice and level here. Yeah, we're in a bit of a downdraft now. Just slightly settling, it's getting more and more as we get closer. Just try and hold it there, and then we hit the other side, and there we are. We're sort of going back up again, or at least stopped our descent rate. We'll come out on a wide right base. We're going to have to land crosswind, so we'll try land it on the dolly if we can. Aiming for about the runway that's there, which isn't actually, it's just a fictional one, that runway, but aiming for about the white markers. There's some white spots in the paddock, just in a little bit, and then we'll turn finals and just approach into the dolly from there. Probably a little bit far, those white markers, and we'll turn finals here. Yeah, we got to allow for that bit of a gusty wind there. Yeah, you can see that windsock, it's nearly horizontal. Slightly large oh, we're off the back of it a little bit. We'll just go forward a little bit. Keep forgetting how long these machines are. There we go, we're on it now. Since the throttle doesn't work, you just have to wind it right off. Yeah, the tracking on these is not as precise as X-Plane for like moving things open and shut, and a little bit of work doing in that. But the sounds are good. Here we go. Successful flight in fairly gusty conditions. We'll catch you on the next one.